in your bloodstream, you know, the higher. That's why when you first start drinking, you don't really feel it hasn't had time yet. And you know that.
So alcohol is definitely a problem. We already said that alcohol kills 6 times more teenagers than any other illegal drug, and all illegal drugs combined. We know that car crashes are the #1 killer of teens, and over a third of teen traffic deaths are alcohol related. And that leads us to our next guest speaker.
Yes, Kim Knox is in the studio.
Thank
Thank you so much for coming into the studio. You've been on the show before with us. We also see you speak at high schools because your son, you actually lost your son, Jared.
Yes.
And can we hear that story, because I mean, it's affected your entire life, and we'd love to hear it.
Jared left for college in August of 2005. Went to Eastern New Mexico University. Had a part-time job. Was a great kid. I spent Thanksgiving with him.
And you're from Pleasant Hope,
Yes,
right?
Pleasant Hope,
Okay.
where I graduated from. I spent Thanksgiving with him.
Okay.
I came home Friday, and Jared was killed in a car wreck that Saturday night.
Okay.
His blood alcohol level was 238. When they got him to Albuquerque, he
0.238.
Yes.
And the legal limit is 0.08.
Right. And Jared was about 4 or 5 hours from Albuquerque. He had the wreck in Curry County, New Mexico. So I think he had lost quite a bit of the alcohol by the time they got him to Albuquerque. He went across the highway and hit a culvert head-on.
And he was drinking with some work buddies that night?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
he was. They were 26, 28, and 44 years old.
26, 28, and 44 years old. Is it true, I think you've said before, that they actually propped him up
Yes.
to drive?
They did, and they put the rest of the alcohol in the back seat of his car when he left, so he could take it with him.
So they had been playing drinking games
Yes, card games.
together, and they were all drunk.
They were all drunk.
And so they were unable to make a smart decision about who should be driving. They knew they had to get home because Jared was supposed to work the next day,
Yes.
open the store where
Opened
he
the store.
worked. And so they propped him up.
They
Tell us
propped him up.
about those people and where they are today.
Those people. Ashley was charged with a felony. She's in Kansas. Actually works with victims of violent crime now. Matt is in Louisiana and probably still a drug abuser, and he threatened suicide a lot.
Because of what happened
Yes.
to Jared.
Yeah, he's actually the one that helped Jared find his keys. So, and then the one that was my age just kind of left in the night. You know, it was his home that they were all in, and he just kind of bolted.
And Kim, when did this start for you? You got a call from his job saying that Jared didn't show up.
No, Jared's dad actually came to my house
Okay.
because State Patrol had went to him,
Okay.
and Chuck came to my house.
Okay.
But I didn't believe it. I mean, it doesn't happen, you know, to people like me. You don't bury your kids. And so I'm the one that called the Buckle. That's where Jared worked. And they couldn't find him. He hadn't shown up. He wasn't answering his phone. And that's when I knew that he was dead.
And it just was unbelievable to you.
Yes.
So your Jared's dad came to your house, and what did he say?
He, the first thing he said was, "You have to listen to me." And he's looking me directly in the face. And he said, "Jared died last night." And I told him he was wrong, because I had talked to Jared on the phone several times that day, and he just, you know, kept on, and he said, "Kim, he was killed in a car wreck." And I just kept saying, "You're wrong, Chuck, you're wrong." And that's when I called where Jared worked, because I knew he was wrong. You know, I wasn't going to be one of those mothers that bury their kids.
Right. What about going through the steps of, you know, planning the funeral?
Yeah. Trying to write his obituary, because I couldn't. I could not do that. Chuck had to do it. Picking his clothes. I remember now people saying to me, "Kim, what would Jared want? You know, what clothes would Jared want?" I mean, he was only 18. I didn't know. You know, and the caskets, you know, I didn't go in that room because, you know, I just couldn't. But that's all I kept hearing was, what would he want? I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, it was very hard. I think I just kind of shut down. I was waiting to wake up. I knew I was caught in a nightmare.
Yeah.
And that's what I kept saying.
And when people drink and drive, they don't understand that the consequences of this action are going to just affect so many people in society. Jared's friends, his family. Kim said as soon as she found out that Jared was dead, it wasn't very long and her house was full of youngsters.
Full of kids.
Yeah.
From school.
And you were very close with your son. This was your only...
True love.
Yes.
Yes, he was my life. Yeah.
And you still have items, personal items, that you keep of his. Do you still keep his room? I've heard the same.
No, I actually just changed that. Which
You
was,
moved on from that.
I tried. I put it all, I just recently moved, and I put it all in storage bins. And when I took it to the basement 2 weekends ago, and turned out the light, you know, it was like, I'm not forgetting you, but I have to find some sort of sense of a life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll thank God for memories, you know, because I have a million. But I had to make that room just a room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not Jared's room. It's a spare bedroom.
Yes.
So it was hard. I changed my mind 50 times that Sunday to go get the things and bring them back up, but I didn't.
And this was just recently,
2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago.
And when did Jared die?
November of 2005.
Yeah, November of 2005. And I know that you used to keep his cell phone and his
I
keys
paid
on the
his,
counter.
I paid his cell phone bill for 6 or 8 months just so I could hear his voice. You know, the cell phone company gave me the access where I could play the voicemail message, and I would just sit and play that. And I paid the bill for 6 or 8 months before I shut it off.
These are the details, you know, it's hard to hear, but we hope it makes a difference to you today. Don't go anywhere. We're still doing the Don't Drink and Drive show. Thank you so much, Kim, for telling your story.
You're welcome.